Welcome back to another episode of It's the Family Podcast. We are truly blessed with my co-host Christopher Jackson to have the beautiful, amazing, distinguished. I've ran out of adjectives and adverbs to kind of explain what she means to me. Dr. Constance Leyland. Welcome to It's the Family Podcast.
Woohoo! Thank you for having me.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
We got off on the wrong foot. It was my fault from the lack of communication. And first and foremost, I want to apologize for that. Uh, Going into the basic questions of our podcast, I just want to ask you before we get into anything, your favorite genre of music,
I love hip hop and R&B.
favorite artist.
Ooh, there's a lot, but I love Bruno Mars, but ABBA. I like the Journey, like all the old school music is what I like. I think the new music is nothing but two beats. I can't do it. I can't
Okay.
wait. But yes.
So, Dr. Leland, how can you, at the age of 21, know about hip hop and old journey music, things of that nature? I mean, you must have been like what, 1 or 2 years old when these guys came out.
I don't know. I'm almost 50. So let's
So,
see. 21. Actually, my family is very strict. Okay, I grew up as Asian family is very strict, and I wasn't allowed to do anything but school and work. So when I moved out of my family, I went clubbing. I was hanging out in LA with all the A-listers and partying my heart out. So I was listening to all kinds of genre music, and then I actually met Warren Buffett at 21. I was a manager already at Geico. I had 100 people under me. But once the work is done, I actually had a work that I start from 4 in the afternoon until 2 in the morning. I was
okay.
working that late night hours because I went to school at the same time. But music was everything because I was in the clubs. I knew all the DJs. So
Hey now, hey now. I want to also ask you, did you grow up in California? Were you born in California?
no,
Give
I
me a
was
little
born
bit
and
back.
raised. Yeah, I was born
Okay.
in the Philippines, came here at 13, and I've been in California for over 30 years now or more. But I move around like DC, Virginia, Boston because of my husband's work.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna let my co-host ask you a question or two, and I'll get back to you.
Well, hi, Dr. Leyland. Uh, First of all, I didn't. My host didn't ever tell me that we was having a model on today. So thank you for being on today. And I just want to ask you, what what drew you to like a different like the areas and you said I know you said your husband moved around, but what you found interesting in California? Because I know I have some relatives there, and I only been there like one time, but I love to go back again.
So what I love about California is that it's huge state and it's a beautiful state. We pay sunshine tax here, but at the same time, it's different from Northern California and Southern California. So I grew up in San Diego, LA area. My mom was
Okay.
born and raised here in LA, but she moved to Northern California, and my daughter is in Northern California. So I think California is known for Hollywood, Disneyland, right? All of the
Oh yes.
parks and things like that. In Northern California, I just recently took my youngest daughter to Redwood City. It's so beautiful in nature. I just saw and drive through a tree that's 2,400 years old. Like, what?
Man.
Yeah,
Wow.
I love that. So thank you for that question.
So,
And when you say sunshine tax, what is it, a double or triple the tax amount than you normally pay like in Northern California?
Yeah, no, I was teaching actually a class. I said, guys, do you know you're always double taxed, right? And they're like, what do you mean, Dr. Leland? I don't own a business. It's not a B Corp or a C Corp. I'm like, no, no, you're double taxed. Think about it. You get paid, right? And your tax that you're getting paid, it's tax already, right? To federal and state
Correct.
and then local. But then when you buy something, you're taxed again,
Right.
right?
Oh
So you're
yes.
double taxed.
True, true.
wow, that is interesting. So, a typical home in San Diego, if I paid $1.5 million, what would I get?
Depending on where in San Diego, you probably can't buy a home in La Jolla for that. They go minimum 5 to 10. And we're talking beach house, maybe 2 bedroom and a loft almost, if you're in Del Mar area. The East county area is probably a little bit cheaper and affordable. So I would say 1.5 depending on where you're at. But if you're in the heart of San Diego, you could probably get a condo like in the downtown.
So I couldn't get anything for 100,000.
No, no.
So,
Renting a room is literally 2,000 a month. Yeah, okay? 2,000 a month to rent a room
Oh
sometimes.
man.
wow.
A room, yeah.
So now we've seen that you party with A-listers, with Warren Buffett. So did that whole aspect of partying, and did it kind of fuel you into going back to school, or did it kind of change your trajectory in regards to your life right now?
Um, I actually has always been growing up Asian, literally academics is like breathing for us, right? So it doesn't matter where we're at. So here's a little bit of backstory. My parents left me when I was 2 in the Philippines. My mom came back to America. She was in the Philippines because her parents got divorced. She got in trouble and she got pregnant with me at 16, had me at 17. Left the Philippines, came here in the US, and then left me. Then my dad's supposed to bring me over to America, but also decided to leave me. So that's how I grew up in the Philippines. Now, in our culture, education is something that if you are going to be loved by your family, you better be within the top 5, right? And so for me, I was always been like, okay, if I have 7,000 classmates and if I'm number one, my parents will come and get me. So that's always been my mentality growing up. So I've always been number one. I've always competed to be number one. I don't care what it takes, even if I don't sleep to study to be number one, I will. And I think because of that habit, education comes so easy for me. Like if someone would adopt me and said, "Hey, do you want to get another doctoral program?" Yeah, I would. I would. Every 3 years, I would just keep doing it because I love the challenge. Academia is something that is easy for me. I don't have to work so hard for it.
That's your gift from God. Some people are blessed with singing, some people are blessed with athletic ability, but it seems to me your academic prowess is second to none. So now that you became one in your class through the middle school, the adolescent years, so how did that, I guess, kind of vibe or kind of correlate with you coming to America? Did your parents go back and say, hey, she's doing number one, so we're going to bring her to America? How did that track take place?
So my grandma says, "Oh, your daughter grew up kind of pretty, and so I don't want to be responsible for her if she gets pregnant here too. Take your kid right now." So that's literally what she said to my dad. So I came here when I was 13, and I really wasn't dating. I wasn't really into boys. Like I would rather work and actually study and do some calculations or wa watch some Oprah and do some sonnet and deal with boys. I was just like, nah, they're too slow for me. I can't do it. The conversation's not there. And my dad's like, okay, then I don't have to worry about you and that. What about drugs? And I'm like, nah, I'm too scared of injections. So you're never gonna see me doing drugs. It's fine. And my dad thought I was kind of weird, but I was always been like that. So I came here because my grandmother said, it's time for me to come and see where where it's going. Yeah.
Wow, interesting. So now you didn't like boys, but now you're married, and I suggest you have kids. So give us a little bit background about your personal life, the
Yeah.
marriage and the kids' life.
So been married 22 years. First husband for now, I think. Um, so first husband, 22 years. I have a 21-year-old daughter this year and an 18-year-old daughter this year. If you hear snoring, I try to kick him out. It's my English bulldog, Dukas. And then I have another English bulldog, Cheerio, and I have a German Shepherd. So I have two English bulldog, a German Shepherd, and a Scarlet Macaw.
Wow, interesting. So now I would like to tell my viewers that you are the reason that I actually decided to produce buy the equipment, did everything for my podcast. You are my inspiration. You are my mentor, and I let everybody know that first and foremost. And I look forward to just having you on future podcasts. But that's enough of that. So describe your academic journey that allowed you to become Dr. Constance Leland.
Yeah, so I got my bachelor's degree. I actually graduated in high school early. I didn't know how to speak English, but I finished junior year in high school. I was very studious and I learned English in 3 months. I graduated early, got into a Yale actually. 100% scholarship, but my dad is not educated and didn't know what Yale was and said, nope, you're not going anywhere. I had a scoliosis really bad. So she said, you can't go to cold states. You just stay here in California and just go you're smart, you figure it out, you go to college, just locally. So my dad did that. I went to college while I was in high school, actually. So senior year, I graduated early. You need 4 years of English and math. So I came back to high school just for those two classes. While I was doing that, I was working 30 hours
Hmm.
at a bank. Then I was also in college at the same time. So then when I went to college, I had double major, computer software programming and communications. And then because I work full time, 40 hours plus 30 hours of coding, that was not possible. So I had 3 classes left to graduate my computer software programming, but it didn't happen. So then I told the dean, I said, okay, why don't I take a master's class during a bachelor's degree? He couldn't argue because I had a perfect score and I was president of everything in college. And I doubled major and he's like, okay, fine. So I was taking bachelor's and master's classes at the same time during my bachelor's. Then fast forward, I got married and I told my husband, like, I want to go back to school to get my master's. I lost friends actually, Dr. Johnson, because some of my stay-at-home moms said, why do you need a master's degree? You're going to be a mom anyway. You're just gonna, stay home. And I'm like, well, that's for you, right? And they didn't get me. So I got my master's, um, my MBA, but I instead of getting 2 years, I only did it in 1 year because I already took master's during bachelor's degree. So I was done in a year. And I was like, okay. Then I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get a doctoral program. And my husband's like, no, you're pregnant. So I was pregnant during my MBA, popped my baby in November, went back in January to get my doctoral program. It was on ground, so I had to leave my baby to my parents and then go to school on the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It was 3 days every weekend. In the middle of that junior, after my dissertation phase, I got cancer, had ovarian. And then they told me on April, hey, you have December to live. And I was like, wait, what? What do you mean? They're like, well, yeah, you need, surgery and all this. And at that time, I was in Boston. I had no friends, no family. And my husband's like, let's go to the best surgeon for your issue. And let's go ahead and do that. So I went on depression for a little bit. I stopped my doctoral program and I went in after a year. I was 80 pounds. I was 80 pounds and I
Mm.
couldn't do chemo because they said I would die on chemo. I had nothing else. I was skin and bones. I said, okay. So I did pills chemo for a year. And then after that's done, I told my committee, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to go back. I think I'm okay now. And they were so kind because I was supposed to fly to present my dissertation and they did it in Zoom. They're like, you know what? You're still getting better. Let's get you going. You've worked at this. And I spent a lot of money going to do my dissertation because I'm overachiever. And so I said, oh, I'm going to do mixed methodology for my doctoral program. And I'm going to do a first, right? First collection. I shouldn't have done that. So I had to fly to Korea, Japan, and Philippines to actually interview executive women in person for my
Wow.
dissertation while my babies were still small. Came back, finished that, and then I worked for SNHU. I said, I really love computers. Let me get a master's in cybersecurity. So I did. And then I got that. Last year, I went in for a PhD on psychology for industrial organization doctor. I got in, but then they told me the bill. I'm like, okay, wait, pause. I need someone to sponsor me for the bill. But yeah, that's my academic journey for now. But yeah, I love that. And right now, actually, AI beginners is what I'm teaching the educators because education and educators themselves is very slow. Healthcare and obviously IT are the two main, and financial services are the two main, three main industries right now that are actually accepting AI. And I said, guys, AI is not here to go, just like the internet. You're gonna learn
Right.
it or you're gonna get bulldozed, period. So yeah.
Okay, perfect.
So I have a question just kind of near and dear to both our heart. You're a doctor, I'm a doctor. I wanted to know in the classes that you teach, how has the interface of AI contributing to individuals not actually writing papers on their own, but getting AI to write the papers or computer programming, how they allow AI to do computer program. How is that, has that kind of interfered with the learning process or the learning module or the pedagogy within the educational industry?
They can try. I've been teaching for over 14 years. They can try. So what I've seen my students, I said, guys, I'm going to teach you how it does writing, but it doesn't show and it only tells. So I can tell if you have that. I also have a software I met the vice president of Turnitin. I talked to him. I went to the AI show. You guys should come next year. It's free. It's
Okay.
Okay.
the AI show. It's in San Diego for 3 days, and I met the VP of Turnitin, and they're really developing really amazing things to do that. And I said, here's the thing: A, you're cheating yourself by using AI, and B, you can write whatever you want to do in class, but do know that in final presentation, which is 30% of your grade, so that means you're never going to get an A in my class. And if you don't do homework, you're never going to pass, that you're going to present it in front of me and your colleagues, right? And I'm going
Right.
to ask you questions, right? So if you can't answer it, how are you going to do it? It's right here, it's live. So I'm just giving you a heads up. That is how you pass my class. So it doesn't matter if they have AI writing for them all day long. It's a tool. If you can't speak on the things that you write, I know you're not ready to move on.
Okay.
That's how
Interesting
I get
thought
them.
process. Oh,
Yeah, I'm like,
interesting
that's
thought
how I get
process.
them.
So now, what are like when we're looking at you going through the educational process, you're mentoring, you're teaching, you're pretty much sponsoring, you're wearing so many hats. What is something that you want to do in the future that you have not done as of yet?
Charm school for women and girls. So I used to be an ambassador for United
Mhm.
Nations for women and girls because of my two daughters. My dissertation actually, it's been 30 years of study on how United States, especially women, I'm only considering the United States because that my kids are here, is that in 2022, I actually did an academic publishing, which I invited you to come. That's my presentation, is that 2022, United States was number 27 out of 140 countries in terms of wage gap for women in
Hmm.
executive positions. But then in 2023, we moved from 27 to number 43.
Okay.
Zimbabwe, okay,
Hmm.
and Lithuania is in top 10. What is wrong with United States? We're the first world. So there is a disconnect, right, between talking and doing. The alignment is not there. And so I'm always doing research of, okay, what is my legacy and impact? Yes, I do a lot of things. I publish books, both academic and anthology. I own a magazine. I have a podcast. I have a TV show. But at the end of the day, the theme is helping women and girls because I have two daughters, but also helping people realize that in order for things to change, you have to be the change maker. You
Right.
can't wait for others to do it. And so I would love, and I still do mentorship right now as well, is I would love to have a charm school for women. Think Hogwarts, but like more glamorous, okay? For women
Right.
and
Okay.
girls. And said, how do you deal with confidence issue? How do you deal with mental issue to not label you as mentally disturbed as a woman? How do you recognize that you have low self-esteem and own it so that you can move on? How do you get out of your trauma and boxes so that you can help others? Because think about this, Dr. Johnson. You've seen apple tree, right? When you see an apple tree, you take the apple and you eat it and you love it and you walk away. You see a pear tree, the same thing. You take a pear and move on. But do you ever see an apple tree eat the apples?
No.
Okay.
Exactly. So that's what we're meant to do, right? We are meant to give for others. So stay is called stop thinking it's about you. When you learn what your power is, you need to share. Whoever's willing to listen, come bring them. And you cannot possibly know everything. I don't care how smart you are. Can't possibly know everything. You can try dying though. You can try, keep dying. But for you to just say, hey, come with me. Let's talk about this. Oh, I don't know anything about that. Let me give you to Dr. Johnson. Dr. Johnson knows things about that. And that's what we do, is we give away our knowledge and wisdom in hopes that we are making better strides.
Oh, I just, without Dr. Leyland, all that you got going on, I'm trying to figure out how do you balance everything. Then somebody might be getting left out.
I
Either
do
the
have
dog or the husband.
I do have ADHD. I do have usually Fridays are date nights, date lunch for my husband. Dogs are always
Okay.
every day. I work at home, and then of course my kid, I spend time with her whenever I can, especially on the weekend. But she's so busy with her friends, so I'm okay with it because she's big
Oh,
now,
yes.
she's 17. But at the same time, I think it's more of don't make sure that you don't leave yourself out of that equation
Right.
because you will burn out. You will. And so for me, I think it's also important to have a board of directors in your life. What does that mean?
Oh, yeah.
Means that you have to have friends that you can just vent and no judgment. Yeah.
Wow, interesting, because it seems like we're here listening to you, Dr. Leland, that you have everything together. You're doing everything pretty much just perfect. Like you're expert in every field. And we're wondering, how can we be a tenth of your success rate? How do we get to that point? And how do we allow ourselves to put ourselves in a place where we can succeed in everything, such as yourself?
Ooh, I just talked about this yesterday. Okay, ready? I love math.
All
Okay.
right.
It's so funny. I always say this, I'm so great today. And they're like, CJ, what do you mean? I'm like, listen, this is actually the formula for success. Okay. So think of success equals 3 cube of C's, C to the third power. The first one is clarity. You need to be clear of what you want. Otherwise, you won't get what you want. Then you have to have courage. That means no fear of unless you're going to die and jump off a cliff, then you should be okay. Have the courage to do what you want to do. Third is consistency. So that is the 3 C's, guys. Okay, clarity, courage, and consistency. Then you add radical accountability, meaning you need to be accountable for everything that you do, for everything that you say, and stop making excuses. It's not sexy. Seriously. Okay. Then you have to minus the ego because we all have it. I have it. You have it. Got to take the ego out of that. And that to me is success.
Oh, what you, I kind of like that. I think that's a good formula for anyone to follow because most people don't have, like you say, the courage. They keep thinking like, I'm gonna fail. What if I don't make it? You won't know unless you try. Or they start doing it this week and then take a break and start back up and wonder why things haven't been successful for them. 'Cause like you said, you have to keep on doing it, stay on top of it, and just say motivate yourself. There's gonna be some failures, but at the same time, you learn from those in order to succeed.
Yeah, and never fear. People, I think of failure as I didn't do it right because I didn't get the results that I want.
Yes.
Actually, that's called discovery. We live in the liminal space of our journey. People like to know, how did you get started? Oh my God, you're so successful. But no one wants to talk about the messy part of the journey. No one.
Hmm.
And so that's why I want to do an anthology called Liminal Space, because I want to talk about the dirty side of how to get here. How did you get there? A lot of crying, a lot of whining, a lot of, jogging and walking, and a lot of screaming, all of those things, right? But to me, that cray, CRA, because C is like C to the cube, right? Code cray.
Yes.
Yeah, really is how to simplify things, right? And also some people, when they keep trying, they keep trying, they keep trying, they keep trying, and then they're almost there and they
Almost,
give up.
right?
They give up. Think about, okay, I wish I had a glass of water. Okay, so this glass of water right here, if I put like a black ink or a red ink, this is gonna be pink, right?
Mhm.
But if I want it to be clear again, I have to put it on the faucet and keep adding water and water and water and water and water until it's clear. But maybe at the end, it's like almost there. That's gonna be clear. And you're like, you know what? I ran out of water. I don't want to do it anymore. You're almost there. The water is almost clear, but you couldn't do it because you gave up.
Wow. So I'm kind of rewind. You said you wanted to do something with girls and women in regards to open up a facility, and with the you talked about the pay gap of women versus men. So when we look at that, what are your goal? What is your goal? What is your vision for your facility in regards to allowing women to raise their prowess in the community, not necessarily the community, but this nation? How would that be done, and what do you kind of foresee in the future as far as that developing or those individuals developing to become leaders in our industry and leaders in our country?
Literally hands-on experience. So learning learning styles is important. A lot of people and a lot of women go in their jobs thinking they're less than because they didn't know how to learn, right? Some people learn auditory, some people learn text, some people learn by physical touch, kinesthetic. I learned visual. If you give me a something to put together and then you give me this long text to do it, I will not do it. I refuse. I will open the box, look at the front of the box. I'm like, oh, I can build this. So I look at it and then I do it. Now, why is that important? Because the more you do things, you, Dr. Johnson, the more self-confidence come into you. The more you do wrong things, the more that you're not working, right? And remember, we all are walking with 95% subconscious. So if your subconscious is telling you, you can't, you can't, you can't, you can't, you can't, and then 5% of, I can do this, and then you didn't do it, ah, yeah, you're right, I can't, right? Because 95% of us is subconscious. So you got to make sure that consistency through actions is aligned with what you are made for.
Just by hearing you speak, I know you motivated so many people in your life. Just by listening to you, I'm excited for the future. I'm excited for the journey that you're actually getting to embark on. And I want to say that I am just motivated to do more in the community. I'm motivated to do more for just not necessarily you say the women, but for our women, for our men, for our kids, for our seniors. I am more motivated to do great things than ever. And I'm thanking you for allowing me to get myself consciously, self-consciously, unconsciously to motivate myself to do better. So have you always been like that in regards to your motivation tactics? I'm sitting here, you didn't really say anything, but you said a lot.
Yeah, I've always been like this. I think the lack of parental guidance, the lack of not having parents, I wanted to parent everyone in the world, I think. Um, I because I didn't grow up with mom and dad, I grew up with grandma. I think the lack of that is making me, and I grew up with no mentors as well. So that is why I'm pouring out. Even in high school, I won the key to our city because I was the only teenager who volunteered in the hospitals and the old folks home 1,000 hours in a year.
Again, you're doing so much. And myself and my co-host, we're wondering how you literally accomplish. You said volunteering 1,000 hours in a hospital. I can't even think that I've actually been to a hospital for 1,000 hours. Literally, I want to say at least I haven't been there 20 hours, let alone 1,000 hours. I am just like, I don't know. I'm excited in a way, but I'm also like saying that I should do more. I'm actually stepping behind the curve. I don't know. What can I
So,
do or what can we do to be better?
so here's the thing. You're looking at the accumulation of the outcome. Don't think like that, because then you will fail already. Think of just starting slow. Maybe I can read to somebody for an hour, for a week. Teach
Wow.
somebody mindset skills for 30 minutes. That consistently becomes that 1,000 hours. But if you think the opposite, like, oh my God, I can't do 1,000 hours. Of course you can't. That's too much. But if you do it consistently, 30 minutes, an hour, it will add up. Just like your money, right? If you don't go to
Right.
Starbucks
Correct.
and spend $10, you're gonna have $1,000 at the end of the year. But yeah.
Wow. I look at 1,000 hours when I worked at a in a corporate setting. 2,000 hours was a year. That's how much many hours you did in order to earn your year's salary. So I'm looking at you did 6 months of volunteering, 8 hours a day, Monday through Friday, in order to meet that 1,000 hour quota.
Yeah, I did. I volunteered beach cleanup and also reading the old folks' home because they don't have people basically visiting them. So I would ask my friends to write a letter. Like every Mother's Day, every Father's Day, I would ask all the school kids and said, "Hey, write me a letter," and I would bring it to them and I would read it to them. And then after beach cleanup, again, I go to the I do a runner for the hospital. So basically volunteering on the kids, like feeding them or taking from one blood test to the other or prescription. I did all that all at the same time, usually Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So while kids are like partying or whatever, I was volunteering. Dr. Johnson's amazing. I did push him to do his podcast because I
Right.
know from talking to him, he does so much in his community. And I think the community at large, especially the global world, can really benefit and learn from someone to give out their wisdom, their knowledge to do better because that's what we do. We're going to expire, but our legacy stays if we do better.
And
Perfect.
again, we want to thank you for joining us. I know your time is at a premium, and I knew from our previous conversation you had some other things to kind of hop off and do. And I am just so happy that we were able to get you on for this time. And again, I take full responsibility for the mix up in regards to not having you on a little bit earlier.
No worries. I'm flexible. I'm used to this. I'm flexible to anything. Expectations only lead to demise, right? Only lead to conflict. I don't have any expectations. I just go with the flow.
And then one more final thing. Could
Sure.
you give us your social media and your website, if applicable, so individuals can reach out to you if they want to get information about the upcoming Women's Center, your publishing, your things of that, Instagram, anything of social media, any new ideas or past ideas that you want our audience to know about?
Sure. So I have two websites, Lua by Leyland.com, and then levelupwithdoc.com is where all my services are. And then of course at Lua by Doc Leland is my YouTube. Level Up by Doc Leland is my Instagram. And you're in there in Instagram too. And you're also on my website because of the magazine that I did for you. So yeah, that's where you find me and on LinkedIn. Or if you just Google Constance Leland, you will find me. You will.
Okay.
Great
Yeah.
job. We want to give you a great big hand for this
Yes.
company. And down the line, if once you become more successful, please, can we reach out to you again?
Course, anytime. Success is relative. I think people get to their heads on that. Humility is everything to me and staying grounded.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys for having me. Have a beautiful day.